Everybody if you guys can see and hear us live, please say hello in the comments. We had to do some last minute shuffling. We've got a handful of people here already. Please say hello. This has been an interesting week, to say the least,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it has.
I just finished moving my whole office home. Before I left the office, I took a picture of my background. You guys can see this is just a green screen right here that I have with a ridiculously messy guest bedroom that I've now turned back into my office. And so I'm using a picture of my old office as my fill-in. So I can still feel
That's
like I'm at
awesome.
the office. I think it's a lot of improvising. Awesome. Leah, Laura from Chicago, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I know that there's a lot of, I want to kind of celebrate our industry. I've seen already some amazing, inspirational, creative ideas on ways to survive, to thrive, and to deal with these uncertain times. I'm going to be from Sticky, and in this group, I'm going to be doing a lot of education, a lot of special projects. So please stay tuned. Renee and I already had this on the books, and I think it's perfect timing. She's got some really good strategies specific to high school senior marketing, as well as prom marketing, that are going to be relevant now and in the future. I think that I'll just say, in the leaders that I've been following, there's one interesting perspective that I took solace in this morning, is that everybody's been talking about a downturn. We've been in a bear market for 10 years now, right? And in some ways, this could actually shorten a downturn where it's more intense, it's more uncertain, but there's a good chance that this could just be a quick blip, a couple months, where then the market comes back and returns stronger than ever. And I think that means that the businesses who take the time to invest in marketing, invest in their business, invest in learning new skills, those are the businesses that can come through this even stronger. And that's the way I'm approaching it. And I hope that's the way you guys can approach it too. So we got a couple minutes before we'll formally go live. We got people still joining and figuring out the tech and where to be. I'm going to make sure approving more members joining. We got 6 more. Approve all. So Renee, thank you for being here. I appreciate.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I think we've had some other conversations before in the past, and I'm always blown away with your creativity, with how your approach to senior reps, senior models, et cetera, and other creative ways to get your brand out there. And especially now, like what happens, a lot of the strategy we'll dig into. I think I still want to learn about how you have approached using Prom as a tool, and some of the ways you've done it in the past, because I think that will be relevant eventually. But we can start with some basics on what to do. Most likely, I think it's fair to assume that most schools are going to cancel Prom this year, depending on where it lands, and we can kind of start chatting through that.
Yeah, no problem. Real quick, I just want to make sure, can you hear the audio? I know that we had some people get a Zoom link instead of your Facebook group link. So I don't know, can you hear the audio of people chiming in to join?
I cannot hear
Okay. I can hear it. So I just want to make sure that you guys are not constantly hearing that, because you're going to probably hear it a lot because people got a different link. So I'm going to be going back and forth between not admitting, like having people not admitted, and then, because there was like a whole thing with this link not being sent correctly. So I keep hearing this ding, and I wanted to make sure you guys weren't hearing that ding, because it's going to be annoying for all of you
Nobody
guys.
heard it. Yeah, good. Kelly Booth, thanks so much for chiming in right away. She said, take the time to build and invest in our biz to get through this. We come back stronger than ever. Amen. Thank you so much for saying that.
Exactly.
Brenda says, good morning from Houston. Sarah Renee Davis, hello from St. Louis. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you guys. Here, let me see if I can figure out real quick how to make that stop making that noise just for a second, because it's going to be so
I don't even see them
for me.
Are you kicking them out, or are you just letting them say that? Because I don't see them at all, even in the participant list.
No, I'm not admitting
Oh,
because
got it.
it'll
Yep.
just be like a
Yeah.
whole screen of
Yeah.
us.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So
Got it.
they had 2 emails that sent them to redirect to your group. So I'm hoping everybody got that.
Yeah. We've got a
Um,
bunch of people here in the
but
group. We're good.
hold on one second. I'm just trying to figure out really, really quick. Give me 2 seconds,
Go
guys.
ahead.
Um,
I'll keep chatting, saying hello.
and,
If you figure out the tech. So
and
Lance says audio is clear, wonderfully so compared to a lot of webcasts. Awesome, Lance. I think that's
good.
um, a credit to getting strong internet. We started the day. I'm a big fan of a gratitude journal, and I recently got one for my 10-year-old daughter. The company intelligentchange.com, I think they released like a kids version of the gratitude journal, and it's been. I actually recorded a podcast of my daughter that I'm like, I didn't think was going to get so emotional. We both cried at the end. It was pretty special.
Yeah.
She has been doing it for over a month. Anyway, before going all into that, one of the things we're super grateful for, it's been helpful now, is like, we're grateful for the things we have, the internet, the electricity, just the basic things. It's pretty amazing. And our kids so far, this is day 2 of kind of homeschooling. While my wife is a mental health therapist, she's upstairs taking
Oh,
clients
wow.
remotely. The kids are downstairs on movie time while mom and dad both have meetings right now. We're going to just be improvising for a while now before we
Yeah,
figure
a
out
lot
how
of
to
us will be
stagger.
for sure.
Mhm.
A lot of us
Cool.
will be. Okay, so I don't know. It may or may not work with this audio. As long as you guys can't hear it, that's all that matters. I'll deal with it later. So I think the tech is probably going to be fine.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and get started if we can. I think that, yeah, like you said, there's going to be a lot of us that are going to be, right now, all of us senior photographers are thinking about prom. Like that's at the forefront of our minds, right? Because like that's one of the things that why we scheduled this as far in advance as we did, right? Because it was like, oh, this would be great timing for people. I can give them a lot of good information about prom and how to prep and how to run sessions and do the things. Because there's a lot of photographers out there who I hear a lot who want to shoot prom but don't know how to shoot prom, or they can't figure out how to make it profitable, or if they even should make it profitable. There's all these different like variables, right? That just kind of floats around
Yep.
in our industry. And so I was like, oh, this would be great timing. And then of course this happened and I was like, okay. So the chatter now is what happens if we don't have prom, or if it's postponed, or if it's canceled, or, what do I do with my model teams? And, in my membership, a lot of people are asking those questions too. So there's a lot of high stress right now. Like everybody's feeling it. And so the first thing I think that we need to understand that we're all feeling that, right? Like no matter what
Mm-hmm.
industry we're in, that playing field is level. Like I think it's safe to say that pretty much whatever your beliefs about all this is, it's still a stressful time. So
Mm-hmm.
um everybody's kind of in that, totally normal. So I've been kind of telling people repeatedly, like, just remember that it's normal to feel stressed. It's normal to feel, a little crazy. I totally get that. But the thing to remember is that to just take a second, you've got to, instead of try not to get caught up into the panic on repeat. Yes, it's important to be informed and it's important to do what we need to do, but it's also, you're in control of your state, right? Like, so this is one of those times that people are like, well, we were just blindsided by this. And that is definitely true. We were definitely blindsided by it. But the people who are really present in their lives already are going to have an easier time flowing through this. And I think this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the really good lessons. I think there's a lot of good lessons in this, but
Mm-hmm.
one of the really good lessons for photographers, especially, running our own businesses, we're so caught up in everything that we do. A lot of us are solopreneurs. We don't have help. We're very overwhelmed every day, not just when things like this happen. And then something like this happens and it's like, oh my gosh. But I think it's a really great lesson for us to sit back and realize that we need to practice being present in our lives and in our businesses daily, so that when things like this do happen, because they do happen, um,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not on this scale, but you always should be prepared for something like this as a business owner, that at least you are not frazzled and completely thrown out of your universe, right? So
Yep.
um So I think it is a good lesson to just kind of pull back and sit back and reflect on that.
Mm-hmm.
So in talking about prom, you know, I'll go over some of the ways for sure that I've run them, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that, you know, kind of diving into what happens if it's canceled, maybe first, some options for people, because I know that that's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. I've already pre-sold prom sessions, right? So like I started pre-selling prom sessions a couple months ago. I do mini sessions. I've done them a couple different ways in the past. And I'll go over some of those options for you guys just to kind of let you know. But right now, what we're looking at is, you know, our schools here haven't formally canceled the proms yet. They've canceled everything else, like no sports, no nothing, school's not in session. And this is going to be a little bit different for each area of the country, which is, you know, just the way it goes, I guess. But so it's a moment by moment situation. And we're all kind of having to sit at the edge of our seats and just, like I said, we're only in control of our state. We're not in control of anything else and how we react. So I've let my clients know, you know, I'm totally aware of the situation. I'm definitely here for you. Please reach out. I think this is actually a really good time too for us to be in more contact with our clients, and especially if you have model teams. It's a really great way for you to, you know, let them know that you're there for them. Again, a really great opportunity for us to serve our clients, and I can go into that a little bit later too.
Totally. Why don't I'm going to do another quick intro. Now I think we've got all of the tech resolved. We got a big jump of people already.
I have people in the waiting room too, and I'm so sorry, by the way, when you guys are watching this on replay. Just go to Nate's group.
If you want to quick add some of those people, I've been approving a big chunk of people to jump in. Everybody who's joining us now, or if you're watching this on the replay, I'll say it one more time. I know these are uncertain times. I'm super excited to have Renee here to talk specifically about high school senior marketing and some ways we can reinvest in ourselves, in our business. First, in our mental health, in our state of mind, how we approach this stuff, limiting our intake of social media and kind of the negativity, and focusing on what we can control. There's that amazing prayer, like grant me this serenity. Right. To know, to focus on the things I can control, and to be able to take action on the things that are in my control, and the ability to know the difference. I butchered that, but you guys know what I'm saying. So with that, we're going to jump into how to use senior marketing, how Renee's done that. And then what's your approach? What are some creative ideas for let's just go straight at it. What do we do when prom is canceled?
Yeah. That's best. That's definitely what most of us are facing right now. So like I said, I pre-sold a lot of sessions. At this point, I'm not continuing, you know, to try and sell those at this moment. However, I'm waiting to find out personally if we've canceled. If we do cancel, I'm hoping that they just postpone these things for these kids. Like that's my hope, is that all the stuff, I mean, I know a lot of the things can't be postponed, but some of the things like the dances, I think that the schools should really look at ways to do that for at least the seniors. So hopefully that's something that they're taking into consideration. And if not, I think it is a really good opportunity for us to, like I said before, work with our teams, our clients, and their parents, and try and really kind of figure out creative ways to serve them. So I would still like to do mini sessions for them. You know, a lot of my clients already have their dresses. My clients are mostly female. Like I do shoot some guys, but they're mostly girls. And I'm really close with my model team because I keep my model team pretty small. So, you know, those girls are really looking forward to their prom shoots and everything like that. So I definitely want to still do something for them. And I think that we have that opportunity. I mean, like I said, we have to play it by ear. We don't know exactly how long this is going to be, what the ramifications. And, you know, as soon as we start to figure out ways or see that light at the end of the tunnel, I think we should definitely start putting that into practice of, you know, let's continue. Let's do a little mini shoot for you, whether it be inside somewhere. And if you don't have a studio, maybe you can look into seeing if a hair salon will let you partner with them. I mean, it would be really great if you could really start to partner with your local community right now. I think that's one of the biggest opportunities that we have is reaching out to other small businesses in your community. I always say that to my students, but like,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to hit everyone, and everyone is going to be kind of scrambling. So if you can corral people and figure out a way that you can bring all these different services to your clients, I think that would be a phenomenal thing to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, be creative with it. I mean,
Yeah, I want to chime in there on this point too. I think everybody knows in my audience that small business partnerships are like the number one. I think
yep,
there's so many good. One of the biggest ones is your own mental health. It's lonely as an entrepreneur, and guess who understands other entrepreneurs is other business owners. Just a handful of them can be an amazing asset. Um, Always, and especially now as photographers, we have a huge asset. You
yeah,
understand not only how to tell stories with video and with stills and with the internet. All of those skills are going to transfer and be incredibly valuable. So that's the normal days, like business partnerships. Special days like now,
yeah,
a lot of businesses are like, everybody's gonna be hit hard, and now is not enough. I think the best we can create slack in everybody's mindset. So the whole idea of flattening the curve is that, like, we want to make sure that we slow the progression of this so that we don't run out of hospital beds, and in that,
right.
from the hospital bed short all the way up to everything, to groceries, to everything, right, and all the way up to our businesses, where if we some of us need to find ways to creative ways to make money. We'll talk about that. But for everybody that isn't immediately under like an emergency crisis situation, it's about how can we be generous?
Yeah.
How this will pass. And I think the biggest thing here is, how will you be remembered? How
Mm-hmm.
did you show up for your
Absolutely.
community, for your customers? And that will never be forgotten. So let's go
Exactly.
straight at this example of how creative ways you can help other small businesses who have to close their doors right now,
Yeah.
right? You
Right.
just reaching out to them and being generous will never be forgotten.
Absolutely. No, you're so right. And I've been talking about this over the last couple of days with some of my mastermind girls in my mastermind group, and just people in my other groups. It's exactly what we should be doing. I mean, we always should be, when you're coming from a place of service, first of all, when you are coming from that place of service and you are in service of others, right?
Mm-hmm,
It's really very hard to be in fear. Like,
mm-hmm.
it's really hard to, it's almost, I think, physically impossible, they say, to be in a state of gratefulness and fear at the same time. It's really not
Mm-hmm.
possible. So like,
Yeah.
if you really train yourself to be in that place of feeling grateful and serving others, then you're not only helping other people, but you're also helping yourself in your own state, because it's going to calm your own fear. When we're helping other people, it's just our natural state. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely see if you can corral other businesses. I would be reaching out to, if you've got a local dress boutique, for sure, because they're going to get hard. Salons,
Mm-hmm.
makeup artists, hairstylists, anybody in that industry, even down to, cafes, coffee shops. You can really incorporate, get more creative probably right now than you normally could be in your business, because of the situation, because so many more small businesses are going to be looking at different ways that they can help and get out, their reach as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
you can say, look, if you approach it, and I always tell people, like, when you do things like that and want to collaborate with small businesses, it's never a really good idea to go in there and be like, hey, here's what I want to do with, I want your service to do this for me. Obviously, you want to go in there with that intention of, I love your business. How can I help you? How can I bring
Mm-hmm.
my clients to you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and nobody's really going to turn that down. Like, if you approach it in that way, that you're really there for them and you're trying to help them, they're not going to say, no thanks, we don't really need you. You know what I mean? Like, but
Mm-hmm.
especially right now. So I think that this is like a very unique opportunity for us. You can also do really nice little touch points for your clients, especially if you have a model team. And I talk about this a lot in my membership too, like little things that you can do for them that will, let them know you're thinking about them. And it's not necessarily a marketing thing that you're doing, but everything that we do ends up being that, right? Because we are small business owners. So in effect, it's just that passive organic service marketing. Put together little, care packages and have them sent, or send them some flowers, or you can do little touch points for people that don't cost a lot of money. You can even make things, you know what I mean? I'm super crafty sometimes, and I like to make stuff for my girls. So
Renee, how do you manage communicating with your model team? Because one of the things I was thinking about is having like a private Facebook group. Do you have a private group for your models?
I have done lots of different options over the years. Most of my clients are not on Facebook, so I don't really use a Facebook group anymore for them. I've polled them a lot, and I always tell people like this too, like poll your audience and see what works for you. I love the app Telegram. So I started using Telegram recently because you can create a channel. So I can create, and then you can also do a group chat. So like you can do an interactive chat, but you can also do a channel where I just send out announcements. And so they can't respond to that. So it's not like everybody's getting all these constant notifications, right? And so if there's just something important that I need to tell them, and what I love about Telegram is that you can do voice as well.
Right.
And I'm much better like that. I use it a lot in my coaching business for all my, people in my coaching groups. I ask them to join that because when they ask me really in-depth questions, it's going to be a lot easier and faster for me to talk it through with them. And so I'll just send them voice messages instead of typing it all out. Right. So I love that, but I'd still text. I have a pretty small team. So, it's really manageable with just 11 girls this year. And then I think 15 last year is what I had. So I do text them as well. I'll send group texts, and that tends to be like in times like this, I do want it to be a little bit more personal, interactive. So I'm going to text them. And so that way we can all kind of chime in, because again, this is a great opportunity to use our community. You know what I mean? And they're looking for ways to be interactive. They're stuck in their houses too. So they want to be out there, and they don't really mind the group chat constant back and forth during a time like this, if that makes sense. Right. So there's a couple different options that you can use. For the main stuff, here's what I do want to say about the communication real quick, because I'm really big on this. Whatever you do, whenever like you're sending important stuff out, especially about team shoots or anything that you need to get out to the parents, first of all, I email the parents and the kids. So I always want to have that email as like that paper trail, because there's always going to be somebody that's like, I didn't get that, and so I want to be able to pull it up and say, actually you did. Not that I'm going to tell them that, but just so I know, because we're busy. I forget. So I need to make sure that did I send that? So I always email them, but I always want to repeat that information too in other sources, because some people are going to consume what you tell them in different ways, right? So keep that in mind as well. But yeah, so I would say for prom being canceled, just if it's for sure canceled, then you at least know now that you can put something into place after. So I would be talking with your clients, talking with your model teams, like, and honestly, I would be considering doing this as a service for my clients right now and not necessarily charging for them. And I never really say stuff like that. But here's the thing, not everything we do needs to make you $5,000. I get it. We're a luxury high-end business. I am very, very big on that. But at the same time, you need to evaluate your market and your clients and see, is this the best way that I can serve them? And maybe you still do charge for it, but you give them their images, you give them the digitals, whatever, because that's what for prom, we'll kind of go over that too if you want in a minute. But in general, for my prom sessions, digitals are what they want. And so, and I want them to share them, and I want them to have those instantly. So those are some things to think about too with prom or anything like that.
Yeah, let's time box ourselves, because I think that's good with anything nowadays. Let's do a couple more riffing. I think we had some good comments here on what to do during these times, some creative ways to serve our customers and to serve other businesses. Bonnie has a good question, like what if, depending on your community right now, if there's already kind of a lockdown on social distancing and you're only allowed to go out for essential things, I think there's a scale here. There might be places where you guys, it's still okay to go out onesie twosie to do like just a one-off shoot with somebody, and just to be really careful and use your long lens.
Yeah.
There's no reason, we don't have to hug and handshake anymore. Oh my, it's so funny. So
I know.
so there's that. And then, so now let's go all the way to, there's, your community has suggested there's no reason to go out and to get together with people unless it's essential. Once we get there, I think somebody said there's an app called Band. I haven't heard of that.
Oh yeah, Band is good.
Just really creative ways to create like a private group, whether it's Facebook or others, wherever people already are. That's always my advice.
Sure.
If you have a group of people that you know are already on a platform, use that platform. Then I think that the common denominator after that is privacy. It's like a very specific reason for people to be together. So if they're your models,
you can also use your Instagram close friends for that as well.
Yep.
I use my close friends for photographers. Like, so, like if I have, which helps me because I still shoot, you know what I mean? I still run a senior business and I also do education. So I use my close friends list for photographer related stuff. So that if I'm something that I don't really, want my clients to see or be dealing with, like, you know what I mean? Like clog up their feed with stuff, but I know photographers would be interested in it. I'll just send it to my close friends. So you could use your close friends list for your clients. Because they're already on Instagram for sure. So you could definitely use it in that way if you wanted to use Instagram, but you're right. It has to be something that they kind of already are using, because you want to make sure and to talk about like you were saying, privacy.
I think it's more just like, it's easier when you've created a group with a context. Context is everything, right? No, like, and when it's specific to why are we connecting, is it staying informed as the group or the purpose of the model group? If you're creating a mastermind group with other small business owners in your community, like how great would that be? Create a private Facebook group and start inviting the other small businesses that you have some relationship with, and let that grow as a place to come together. Like the number one need that we can all predict is going to be there is the need for social connection in like remotely.
For sure.
And if you can start creating, be the hinge pin or be the spoke of the wheel for connecting some other small businesses together during this time, again, that's how, think about how you'll be remembered for doing that, for bringing people together and staying positive.
For sure. You can also, and again, don't forget that, especially those of us with teams, we really are like a mentor to them. I mean, we're not just their photographer. A lot of us do, I kind of teach the way to run model teams in a very different way than most people do, but a lot of people do run their teams in a more, not intimate, but that kind of feel where it's more personal and more of a smaller little community within your client base, which is why I kind of choose to run mine that way. Cause I think that, well, for many reasons, but anyway, get off track. But the main thing I wanted to say about that though, is that, we're kind of like a mentor already for them. So again, you can use things like Zoom or Skype and say, hey, do you guys want to hop on a Zoom right now? Like, how are you feeling? You want to get some FaceTime? You guys want to do a little virtual chat, like a virtual hangout? Stay in contact with them, be there for them. Even if you're feeling scared, and that's okay. Like I keep telling people, they really want to see your authenticity. That's why I'm always telling people to get FaceTime, get on your story. People really want to know who you really are and what you're dealing with. And if you're scared, you can even tell them that, right? Like you don't have to be the one with all the answers. The thing that matters right now is community and keeping people in touch. But that could be a really fun way for you guys to connect. It could also be a great way for you to use this time. That's the other thing I want to talk about, is using this time wisely. So you do have some downtime. Most of us are going to be on lockdown. If you're not already, come in. So, use this time wisely. So if you do something like that with your team, that could be like a little focus group, right? So I always encourage photographers to do that, is to have like focus groups or poll their audience, poll their teams, see where they're at. Use this time to do that. And that's not only going to benefit them and give them that sense of community, but it's going to give you some really great feedback as well, that you can use and repurpose for all kinds of things. So
totally. So, okay, we'll do one more last tip for when, what to do when it's total lockdown. So number one is focus on your own marketing projects, like building a sales funnel, building an email nurturing sequence or lead magnet, getting your website in order.
Be ready.
All of those basic things, right? Be ready for the storm to pass. And then when you get stuck, if you find yourself getting stuck, then I think Renee and I keep echoing this, go to gratitude and giving. And it's like an eraser for the fear. Like it just, our brains cannot be scared and generous at the same time. Okay, so how do we be generous? If you've ever been waiting to like, just go back to what we love doing is delivering our imagery, right? Go back to so the one thing that will be eventually turned off is your ability to go take new pictures of people. Your hard drives are full of amazing imagery. Surprise your past clients with a custom mobile app, with their own little web thing, with a printing something special. Like, again, the way you act now will echo for months and months and months in your business. And if you are remembered with, oh my gosh, because this is one of those big, like, standout moments. I don't want to get too dramatic, but like we all remember the weeks of like 9/11 and how we showed up for each other and who was there for us. That you have an opportunity to like lock yourself in your clients, in your community's minds as somebody who's generous. They'll go, you know what I'll always remember is my photographer sent me this amazing card. My whatever, like that is going to like cement you into your community's memory. So take that opportunity to send them something digitally. And then that's your customers. The other strategy, I even created a whole business out of this years ago, called sticky apps, but I would just use sticky folios now to do this, is if you have any imagery of a small business's services or products at all on your hard drive already, make a page celebrating them and just say, hey, I know everybody's kind of hunkered down working on their marketing right now. I had these images that I was meaning to put together for you, or I had them because of this reason, and I put them together for this thing. Feel free to use it however you want to use it. Let's jump on a Zoom chat. Let's jump on a call and talk about how we can use this and other things you're doing to weather the storm.
And one step further from that, real quick, I know I get off track, but real quick, while I have it in my mind, if you are doing that for other businesses, another thing you can do, I mean, this is a great time for you to reach out to businesses in general, but a lot of those small businesses, like your salons or whatever, they don't know how to do that kind of stuff, right? They don't know, like a lot of them have no idea how to even set up a square or whatever. So, you know, you might have some time to help other business owners learn how to do that kind of thing. And in doing so, you're not just helping them, you might find a little side gig for yourself, right? So, you know, other streams of income, like you might find that I'm really good at helping people set up these social media things or teaching them how to do this. Maybe you lead a group at one of your local networking. You never know, like there's a lot of opportunity here. So just pay attention to those things, like be intentional about it, basically.
Yeah, right? I think that's one of the whole premises, without getting off track on the sticky apps business model. It's like, the idea here is that photographers, we all have an enormous advantage. When we think before this and during this, if you think of all of the business owners in your community right now, what are we really good at? We're already comfortable using web tools. You're already comfortable editing videos probably, and working with images, of course. All of these skills translate to really, you have a head start on how to market and tell stories and bring people together online. It's an enormous asset, whether you use it as a way to be generous right now, and like Renee says, that could definitely turn into other ways to contribute and
Good.
possibly earn money in the future. Okay. This has been awesome. Let's see what else. Well, I'm sure we'll still go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want to make sure we touch on a couple of
Exactly.
different ways to do prom for people. So I
Yes.
want that because look, even if this isn't going to happen for you this year, you want to be prepared, right? So
Yep.
I'm always trying to so even if this doesn't happen this year, this is really good information for you for next year's prom.
That's what
And
I want to
again,
do.
how excited are people going to be for next year's prom, by the way?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
think about that.
So let's do this. Let's practice. This is what I want people doing other places. I think there's an opportunity where you carve out ways and strategies to like focus on now in the things that are just in front of us. I think that it will also be good for our psyche and for our business as we say, okay, now I'm going to like lock myself in my room. I'm going to focus on building my business in the new world, in the new, when this is all gone.
Yeah.
Prom's coming back. Okay, now we're transitioning right now. In the comments, guys, let us know what, and we're going to focus on preparing ourselves for when prom's back, and and how Renee's done prom and used prom as a really creative way to go forward. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, prom is in general, like, normally we're looking at prom at what, April, May. So it's when most of us, if you do have model teams, are I call mine an influencer team, but it's the same idea. If we're just shooting the juniors, for next year's class. So like I was supposed to just shoot my 2021 girls, but I, had to push that. So it's that timing, right? So this springtime is a really powerful time in our business because, after the winter, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, these juniors are now being ushered into their senior year. And so while we still want to be intentional and focus on our current seniors and make sure we're finishing out that year and serving them, we're at the same time, many of us crossing over into this junior. I actually do a crossover event every year with my teams called Big Sis, Little Sis. And it's because it's, again, girls, but you could call it whatever you want. And I do it in June. So that would also be like a little side note for you. We might be seeing a lot of stuff being pushed, but it doesn't mean you can't do it after graduation, right? So so keep that in the back of your mind. But anyway, so prom is a great time to get some really great organic marketing for that next year's class, because even if you don't have a ton of juniors signing up for those prom sessions and it's mostly seniors or it's mostly your current team, who's going to see those images when they post them and blast them all over Instagram? The juniors. And so I always get like this huge influx of inquiries after prom from the next year's class. And if you do it right, that's the intention, right? So I don't look at prom as like this giant moneymaker. Yeah, I make money off of it, but it's not like, a huge part of my business that if I don't shoot it, I'm not going to survive. Right? I mean,
Totally.
I don't look at it as that. I look at it as, yes, I do want to make money on it. However, this is a great marketing tool, and it's a great way for me to serve my current model teams, because I always give them a discount on it. I give them more images. So there's really a lot of cool opportunities for you to do those kind of things with prom as well.
Totally.
Now, a lot of people tell me, okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to shoot prom because it's still cold here, or it might rain. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of variables like that as well. I know I'm in Southern California, so we usually have really nice weather, but it has rained for our prom out here on occasion. So, obviously if you have a studio, that's going to be your best bet. But if you don't have a studio, you can still figure out creative ways, like I said, to shoot something either indoor or maybe even like a lifestyle setup, right? So if you have a pier space in your town, or if you have any kind of Airbnb where you could rent a space for the day, that would be super ideal for you to be able to bring people in. And honestly, like an Airbnb or any kind of lifestyle setup is going to be a little bit more fun than just like a backdrop, because that's what Gen Z kind of wants. So then you'll be like kind of infusing it with that whole lifestyle, and you can get some really cool shots of their friends, you know what I mean? Even with their parents. I always grab shots of their parents, by the way, whatever I'm shooting or wherever I'm shooting, because prom is just as big of a deal to those parents as it is to the kids, sometimes more. So and they buy those images. And so,
Right.
you
Oh,
know,
totally.
yeah. So
So I
if
want to
you,
back up and go, I'm going to play dumb for a second. So just basically at a high level, I never did this. I did high school senior portraits, but I was way behind the curve on this. I think I got asked to come take pictures like the day of for
yeah,
my
yeah,
cousin's prom. I was like, oh crap, I've totally missed an opportunity here.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing is, the idea here is that people are investing tons of time and energy and money and attention to this day, right?
yeah,
They want to
yeah.
capture it. They want to tell this story. It's not just a couple hour event, it's an all day, if not more, event. So are you typically doing the prom session or mini session the same day as the prom, or is this it's the same day?
Same day.
Okay. And so you, in a perfect world, you set up like a mini at a certain location, whether it's a salon or a boutique or something like that, where they all
Yeah.
can come at their specific time to
Mm-hmm.
capture themselves. So it's like a
Right.
stop on their trip for the day.
Right. But the thing to remember with this is you've got to be really organized about it. And this is what intimidates a lot of photographers about prom in general, because shooting on the day of, when they know that those kids have hair and makeup appointments and all this other stuff, and they have to be at school at a certain time, because most of the time they can't drive there, they have to take a bus. So you have to be really, 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 really organized with it. And okay, so here's the thing. When I first started shooting prom, I kind of dove into it not knowing not knowing what to do with it. I was like first starting to shoot seniors, and I had a couple of my clients who were like, we're going to be at this location and we'd love for you to come by. And I was like, okay, cool, extra way to make some extra money, whatever. I show up and I'm like literally like bombarded by
Yep.
like hundreds of seniors. And so that was it was a good learning experience, and it was definitely a good way for me. Sorry, I have to let my cat in because she's going to be really
Go ahead.
angry. um
There we go.
it was a really good way for me to get my business out there, and
Yeah.
to but it could have been really detrimental to me if I really screwed things up. So keep that in mind. Like,
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you don't want to go out there and be unprofessional and be, yeah, I can shoot all you guys, and then not be able to deliver that product.
You don't want a big line
Don't
of people angry, right?
Be
Yes.
careful, right? So
Yeah,
be careful, set
totally.
those boundaries. So that's what I
Yep.
really like to tell people is like, if you put yourself in that situation, just be ready for that, because people will be like, oh, here's $60, take my pictures. And you're like, okay. So just be aware of that. So it
Got
gets
it.
nuts. It gets nuts
Yep.
sometimes. So what I like to do is I like to pre-schedule them. I use Acuity, but there's a lot of different
Mhm.
calendars and things that you can use. I think Sticky even has one.
We don't anymore. We
No?
used to,
Okay.
but I recommend Calendly. If you don't have one, Calendly's
Yes.
got a good free option. I would recommend paying for one so
Yes.
that you can take payment.
That's what I do.
You
Yes.
want to lock in a down payment in order to reserve a time slot.
Absolutely. I actually have them for prom sessions pay in full, like
Yep.
before the whole thing.
Perfect.
So what they
Perfect.
do is and I'll just kind of run through it really quickly, because this is where most people get hung up, is like, how do I do this? So I like to run the sessions or mini sessions, and they're 20 minutes. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
But they're 3 couples per 20-minute slot, because most of the time they want to shoot with friends. So it's per couple, right? And that could be, now I've had some girls say, well, I don't even want my date to come because he doesn't matter. Can I just bring my
Yep.
friend? Yes, that's fine.
Yep. Perfect.
Or can I shoot with my mom? Like, a lot of them like just want like a
Yes.
little mini, that's totally fine. Whatever. They just want
Yeah,
really beautiful
totally.
pictures in their dress.
Yep.
So it's up to 3 couples per time slot. Okay. So you can set it up depending on who you use, but I can set it up on my end that I can accept 3 um, reservations, 3
Yep. 3 people in the
lost
spot. Yep.
people, like for one time slot. My
Yep.
word, I can't even think of that word anymore. And so once that's full, that's it. That time slot's gone, right? And
Yep.
so I tell my clients, if you guys have a big group of people and there's like 6 of you, you got to book, those 2 time slots for those 6 people. Does that make sense? But each
Yep.
person has to prepay ahead of time. That way I know what my day is going to look like before I even show up, so that I'm not like completely overwhelmed when I get there.
Totally.
So if you can set it up some kind of way ahead of time like that, that's really going to be your best thing. And I'm shooting in that time slot. So let's say I've got 3 couples. So there's 6 people in that 20 minutes. First of all, you got to be fast. This is when shooting fast comes in really handy. I'm a fast shooter, and you got to know what you want. So you can't be looking for light. You can't be looking for the right setup. You can't be moving people out of your background. You got to be ready, right? So if you're shooting at a park, or if you're shooting at a certain location, you need to understand what that lighting situation is going to look like before that day. So you get there, and I shoot couples, and then I'll shoot singles of each person, and then I'll do groups. So I'll do groups at the end. And I like to do groups.
And what
very
you're doing right
lifestyle.
now is you're running down, so setting the context, you're setting a mental checklist of the things, the shots that you know people will want to buy later.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. So, and I'm also going to be paying attention to details. You're going to get a lot of details with prom. It's like weddings. They might be wearing a special necklace or a special bracelet. I'm going to be getting detailed shots of the corsages and the florals. I'm going to tag the designers. I'm going to ask the girls who design their dresses, and I'm going to get all that information ahead of time so that when I do post it on social, I can tag everybody. So just be kind of thinking ahead about all those little marketing details as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is so great. We've got so many people here hanging out with us today. I think we're setting a record for a live video in this group. Thank you guys for being here and being positive. Just again, setting context. If you're just joining, we started the first half of today talking about what to do in the short term to address some of the scary times we're in right now. We're focusing on when the storm passes and prom returns, and some really useful strategies for using prom. Number 1 is a marketing strategy. Number 2 is an opportunity to increase revenue. So let's see. So using a good schedule, setting expectations, really communicating. Are you, can we jump to the sales part of it? Like what do you sell? What do you sell from these sessions?
So like I said, I'm not going into this thinking I'm going to, make $2,000 per prom client. I'm not looking at it like this. I'm trying to get more people in front of my brand to understand what I'm about. It's a great opportunity to work with people in a very, to give them a little taste, right? It's like a little taste of your brand. So I have a lot of clients that'll book me for prom, and then they will book their senior sessions like right after that. The parents are like super excited about it. So you want to be able to just kind of give them a little taste of your brand. I don't use it as that huge revenue. However, I also don't want to set the precedent that I'm a shoot and burn photographer. So you got to be careful with that too. You have to be careful with your messaging, and that's all about messaging and communication, just like everything else we do. So up front, I'm really clear, it's going to come with, I like to give them a few digitals, right? I like to deliver them quick, like by the next day, because they want to post those images. And I mean, like, they're going to be posting crappy iPhone shots that their mom took in direct sunlight, and they just want images to post. So I want to be able to give them that, and I want them to be able to tag me. And this is the best part, and I kind of skip ahead a little bit, but not too much, is the intention of delivery, right? So deliver those images with intention. So when you do deliver the images, and say you've got 10 couples or whatever, 10, 15 couples that you shot, get everything ready. What I like to do is get everything ready, make their apps, and then like mass send it out. So like I'll do it all at the same time. And I like to do it like in the afternoon on Sunday, so that by Sunday night, social media is like shock and awe of Renee Bowen photography. And that's what I want. Like it's that jump of like, oh my gosh, like, who is this person, right? So so that's a side note. But as far as like the actual selling of product, I still do sell prints for this, but that's kind of like a passive thing. I do use Pixie Set for it. So what I'll do is I'll send people in an email when I do deliver the images. I'll make sure it's really clear, like, here's how to access your images. I've made an app for you, blah, 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 blah. You can download your digitals, because I'd like to give them like a handful of digitals just right away. If you'd like to purchase more digitals or any prints, here's a link. And I don't have to deal with any of that. Like, it's all done, you know what I mean, on that end. So unless somebody wants something custom, like every now and then And I'll tell people, like, if you want to make a little mini 5x7 album, I'm happy to do it. I don't even offer that normally on my price list, but for prom, those make really fun little, memories. So you can find, or I would suggest keeping your offering simple, right?
Yeah.
So for
Yep.
prom, like, just pick 1 or 2 items that you're really excited about, and then promote those in that.
Got it.
And
And
again,
so for right
you
now,
could be
what do you
pre-selling
pay?
this though.
What are you charging? So I recommend, if nothing, a down payment.
Oh
But if
yeah, for
not,
sure.
and you've done it a
So
couple
I
different
would
ways. What do you
say
charge for your
I
20
would say
minutes?
between 60 and $80 per couple is usually what I like
Yep.
to go with. And I
Per
like to give
couple,
my
and
per
up to
couple.
3 people that
Yeah,
can
per
be
time
there in
slot.
there. Yep. Got it. Awesome. And that
And
includes what?
it includes, so my model team gets a little bit more extra treatment, right? Because
Hmm.
I like to kind of give them a little bit more.
Yeah.
So they get a discount on the actual session fee. So I give them a discount. They can use a coupon code for that when they book their time.
Hmm.
And they get 10 digitals, right? So
Hmm.
that usually covers a couple of singles. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of covers the basis for them. You could do 5, you could do less. You
Yep.
see my cat, he's trying to get out.
Of course.
He wants in, he wants out. And so, so anyway, so yeah, so you could do 5 or 10,
Yep.
depending on what you're charging. Um, for me, again, I, you know, I have a pretty high average sale. Like, I know what I usually make. And a lot of these people that are booking proms with me are current clients and model team members. So I'm not really looking to push them up to that next $1,000 level, right? Now, some of them do buy a lot of stuff, but that's not my intention. So they're going to buy prints, they might buy a little book. That's
Hmm.
really kind of what I'm aiming for. And I'm mainly aiming for that marketing. So I would
Yeah,
say keep
totally.
your digitals kind of small, but then offer them more digitals on the back end if
Yep.
they want to buy more. And 5x7s are usually what moms end up wanting for proms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So it depends on your area, and you can definitely be creative with this. There's so many fun, like, creative products that are coming out now. The little mini prints from White House, I love those. They look like little Polaroids. Those are super fun.
Yeah.
I like to send those as thank yous and all kinds of stuff, but you can also use those as part of your product,
Yep.
offering. So
That's so cool. So I think if I'm just riffing on this, I would price it such that everybody gets um, their custom mobile app, whatever platform you
yeah,
use for custom
yeah,
mobile apps, and that's what you're delivering and launching as a surprise. Everybody gets them, and they're sharing them on their phone. And then there's
exactly.
also, hey, if you want order prints of this, here's the link for that. So cool. And
Yeah,
I think that it can't be. I just want to reiterate some of your points. Um, the value of giving your existing customers, a lot of your existing customers are going to participate, is you're just giving more to them, to making their
yeah,
experience even more, because people don't hire photographers, they pay for experiences, right? And you're giving them this amazing thing to celebrate, and like, you're providing a service that they of course want. They've just, I like thinking about it
yeah,
more and more like a couple getting like a wedding, right? There's
yeah,
so many
yeah.
similarities that they're investing so much money, and they
Hmm.
want to remember it, right?
And there's a
Okay,
lot of vendors.
bingo. There's a lot of partnerships. So I think the best way to think of this is for sure a way to get your brand out there, to give to the community, to give to your customers, knowing that, like any mini session strategy, it's an opportunity for people to get to know your personality and to have an experience with you having fun, which
Exactly.
reiterates why it's so important to have a schedule, to possibly have an assistant, to have some backup, so that
Absolutely.
you don't want this experience to be something like, whoa, they were just
Unorganized. And
a
yeah,
bundle of chaos.
definitely
Like,
have an assistant. Definitely
yes,
having at least one person helping you. I
yep,
always have at least one person. There have been some years where I've hired a second photographer, like a wedding. That's
nice,
how that,
nice,
like, so if you find that you've got a lot of people, like, if there's a lot of people, there's only one of you.
yep,
I do have somebody who used to second shoot with me when I was shooting weddings. And I asked her if she'd be one, and we ran it just like that. and it worked out great. So if you
Yeah.
have that, or if you're training like an associate photographer, this is a great opportunity for that too.
Yep. So when you're delivering, I'm just riffing again on this. You're delivering the images in a custom sticky
Yeah.
folio or sticky album.
Yeah.
I would have links out to your
Yes.
Pixie Set gallery. So, hey,
Yep.
want to order prints? Click here.
Go here.
Want to join my email sequence on how to prepare, tips for preparing for your high school senior session? Do you want to book a free consultation for your senior session? So strategically all of the people who paid for that mini session who are not yet booked for a senior, I
Right.
think one of the biggest goals of this tactic are to take people who are not yet your customer, give them a taste, and
Mm-hmm.
convert them into a full senior
Yes.
session. So your deliverables can all, like, how great is it to be like, hey, here's all of this value, just gifts, surprises, always over deliver, give them
Yes.
free digitals of this amazing experience, because you're going to increase the chances
Yeah.
of them then booking a session. So
Absolutely.
booking to a free consult, to maybe even just a down payment on a senior session or some kind of
Yeah.
special. Do you ever
Yeah.
do anything like that?
Yes. Yes. All of those things. So you can do, first of all, I want to back up just a second. When you do deliver those images and everyone's going to start posting at the same time, be ready on your end. Be ready
Yep.
on your Instagram with content on your story. Be ready to because what's going to happen is they're going to hit your Instagram and they're going to go to your story. And if you don't have any content on your story, that's really a big missed opportunity. So you really need to have some really cool content there for them to consume, or at least telling them to go to a highlight or something where
Yes.
you can point them, right? Because you want them to stay in your world as long as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
that's number one. Yes, have those links out. I send people to a link that they can, like, again, I use Acuity. They can just book a session right from there with, a deposit, and then we go from there. If you want to do that, you can, or you can have it direct into a lead. You could, however you want to do it with your client management system, totally fine. But those calls to action are very, very important. Like, whatever it's going to be for you, invite them to DM you. The good stuff does happen in the
Mm-hmm.
DMs. So,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people were like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, invite them in your DMs. Like, say, you guys want to book a session? DM me for a code. DM me for, $50 off print credit or whatever it is. I would not discount. I would not use the word discount. I would say special offer for my prom, whatever it is. You can
Totally.
even put that referral in the hands of your clients that you shot.
Yes.
There's a lot of opportunity like that. And especially the moms, because those
Yeah.
moms are going to post the crap out of those images on Facebook. So be ready on Facebook too.
So good. Yeah, I love the idea of making, for those of you guys that start thinking differently, if for the sticky folio, sticky album users, sticky albums has definitely grown up. There's the strategy is almost a decade old now, but our platform has gotten more robust where it is a website builder. You can
Mm-hmm.
put some really compelling calls to action. And the benefit is this Prom experience app is going to stay on their phone. They're going to save it to their home screen as like a digital brochure flyer that stays there. It's constant reminder to then take other things, other actions that they're going to want to do. They're going to want to order prints. They're going to want to book a schedule and use that because there's an exclusive, like an
Make it
exclusive
easy.
Prom customer offer. Like this, use this link to like whatever the call to action is. DM me for your exclusive offer. Click this link to do an exclusive. If you're looking for more models, or if you want to do
If
a
you're
phone
signing up a
consultation.
team, because a lot of us are going to be pushing now. If you didn't already sign up your model team, and okay, remind me in a second to come back to the prom marketing in a second.
Okay.
But if you are, because I might forget, but if you have not signed up your class of 2021 team yet, you're going to be in a situation where this is going to be pushed out, right? Because you could, either way, it could go either way, honestly. And honestly, I just want to touch on the fact that if you stay in a place of fearfulness right now and you don't market, that's really not helping anybody, right? I mean, I understand that this is a crazy time, but that's not helping the general vibe and energy of this planet, right? We need to keep this momentum going. We need to keep the positivity going. And I'm not talking about being like a sleazy car salesman. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about serving your clients, staying on their radar, staying, staying in your business, staying present with your business, learning, growing, developing those skills, but also marketing to your clients. So, don't stop really doing that right now. And so those of you who have not done a model team yet, there's going to be some things that you're going to want to kind of put in place over the next couple of months. And one of them is to definitely be on their radar in some kind of way,
Yes.
because when this does come, when we come through this, it's going to be like this explosion. Like, think about how excited people are going to be able to be around each other. Right? It's going to be amazing. So
you're in LA. Like, it's always nice there. Like,
oh my God.
It's going to be like spring in Minnesota. Like, and all the northern states, when it gets nice out, we can finally be together. It's hilarious how we all everybody's going to come back out in hordes and want to celebrate.
So, okay, going back to prom marketing for a second. So there's a lot of ways that you can market this too. And I worked with you guys to create a really cool prom sequence as well with sticky emails. That you guys have, and it talks about how to, like, you can start having, even if you're not going to, like, I would start ahead of time, right? So like if prom is not happening this year, then maybe next year this is going to be on your radar in like February. Like, usually in February-ish is when I start kind of marketing for that prom thing, mid-February, because it's an email sequence. But you can use sticky folios to create a prom package for them as well. So you can send them, like, download, this is what your app is going to look like. But inside of that, you can have all kinds of other stuff, right? Like, so you can use, because I like to use sticky folios in that respect. I like to send them, like, I use it from my hair and makeup guide, like we talked about last time. So I like to use it in other different creative ways so that people can get used to that as well. So that when I do deliver images,
content, you're just delivering information in a creative way, whether it's drip content in a sticky email sequence, or inside of sticky folios, we have a tips page where it's a place to put 10 awesome tips in just one simple page. So cool. Holy cow, this has been so much fun. My kids, they definitely earned their treat. I started to hear some rumbles downstairs. I'm like, oh gosh, is this gonna make it? I think we're gonna be okay.
I don't know. Well, my cat didn't make it, so
there's other opportunities to learn more from you. So when people are hunkering down right now, focusing on, I think there's just a really great opportunity for people to learn to build their marketing systems in ways that maybe we didn't have time to in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some of those? Where should they go next to learn more from you?
If you registered for this, you'll get an email, but if not, we can pop a link in. You should be getting another email from me in a little while. First of all, I'm going to have like a replay of this. So a lot of people are asking that, I think, in my DMs. So yes, there's going to be a replay. I know that it'll replay here in Nate's group. I'm going to probably post it like on Vimeo or something. So I'll make sure that you guys have that. So if you registered for the event, you'll get an email with that as well. So yeah, there's a couple different things. I've been doing education for senior photographers for a long time. And last year I started doing a really deep dive online course. That's like everything I do in my business, all the templates, everything, plus coaching from me for 4 months. So I have that, but that's a very, very, very deep dive. So I have that, and I'm running one right now. So I'm thinking about opening up registration for that. I like to keep it small group, like under 8 people. So if people are interested, they can, message me, and I can put them on a wait list for that. But cool. I have a membership right now that I've been running since December called Momentum. And then the membership is focused mainly on marketing, because I think that that's a really big issue with senior photographers in general. But I love marketing, and it's kind of something that we should always really be organically doing. And I've done years and years and years of research on Gen Z. So it's a membership that is focused on marketing to Gen Z and how to run model teams. So like I said, I call my team an influencer team, and I run it very differently. So inside of this membership is also my blueprint for how I do that. It has all the the templates, the PDF, how to run your team as an influencer team if that's what you want to do, how to get them into that whole personal branding and run it with a more intentional pace like that.
Jennifer and Susan are both giving you shout outs to Momentum and how helpful it was.
Oh, I love that. They're so awesome. Thanks, guys. And so, yeah, and it's also a private community. So we have monthly Zooms where we hop on an actual Zoom call where you hop on with me and do Q&A. And then I'll do special guests sometimes. Like this month, I have a special guest coming on, talk about SEO at a very deep level for people. And then, well, like the private community is just kind of there all the time as well. And then I'll have office hours as well. So they'll get a link. If you registered for the event, you should get a link to that page talking about what Momentum involves. And it's been closed, right? So I opened it up in December and I closed it because it's a year-long commitment. So it goes through December of this year. But I wanted to open it up during this time because I think it's a great time for people to, like you said, hunker down and learn, really hone those skills for when it does happen, when we do get through this, and get really, really prepared. So it's a really awesome time for that. So I opened it up. It's going to be open until the 27th. Then it'll close again and it won't open again for the rest of the year. So, so that's a monthly membership. And I wasn't going to do this, but you know, when we had originally scheduled this, but in thinking about ways that I can kind of give back to the photographer community as well over the last several days, in addition to just my Facebook group and things like that, I know that this is a great time for people to hunker down, and it's not it's like $48 a month. It's not super expensive for a lot of people that is. So I want to give away 5 of those, and you don't have to share anything. It's not like a promotional thing. I'd like to give 5 memberships away to people who, really will use this. So if you feel like you really want this opportunity, but it's not something you can do financially right now, shoot me an email and let me know. Let's have a chat. I want to talk about like what that looks like for you and see if I can make that happen for people.
Wow. That's so generous. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no.
This has been really fun. It's helping me just come hang out with the peers. You guys were amazing. Totally made my day. All of the conversation. If you're watching the replay, please continue to, both Renee and I will be here in the chat and Facebook. And if you're new to this photography marketing mastermind, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We'll have lots more amazing trainings like this about how both to manage ourselves in the marketing world today and how to start building ourselves to prepare for the future when the storm passes, and just to support each other. I think we need a place to just support and stay connected virtually. This is going to be really, really special. Renee, any final words? Are you good to go?
I think so. I don't know. I feel like I just rambled. Hopefully that was really helpful for you guys. I don't know. I get on a tangent sometimes.
We'll be launching this your sticky email sequence soon.
Okay. Yeah.
So that'll be in there for anybody who's looking to tackle email marketing for the first time and you haven't. This is
highly suggest it.
I haven't announced this anywhere yet, guys. Sit tight. I think I got to happen. My developers are going to launch it later today. I'm just going to do a 3-month free trial for anybody who's just starting. So you don't have to invest anything. So we have a whole 3 months to build and prepare without having to spend anything with sticky email. I think that this is the time, if there's ever been a time to finally get an email marketing strategy established, now is that time. So stay tuned for that. I'll be making noise about it very shortly, along with a lot of other awesome education from me and from other awesome people like Renee. Thank you. So Renee, feel free to post all of the links you talked about
sure.
on this thread and everywhere else, and we'll be in touch. Hang in there.
Awesome.
Take care. Guys. Anything else? Yep. Have a good rest of the day, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.
Okay, I think